Hey, Luke here with catsandcarp.com, and I'm going to show you a super easy recipe for boilies. So start with some shredded wheat. Get this at most grocery stores. Take out about half the box or 2 packets worth, and you crush them up. You want to crumble them up so there's no clumps. And then once that's done, you dump them into a little bowl or whatnot. And this makes a really great base. You can use a lot of different grains. You can use fish meal. You can use pretty much anything as long as you include high gluten flour and eggs. And this right here is a white whole wheat flour. You can use bread flour, all-purpose flour, as long as it's got gluten in it. And the more, the better. Then you take a box of Jell-O, which is just a flavoring. And I like strawberry, but you can use pineapple, you can use raspberry, a lot of different things, and 2 eggs. Now, the eggs and the gluten-based flour are the binder. That's what's going to make it harden up and make it, have its form, its solidness. Everything else is flavoring and attractant. And I use a little bit of creamed sweet corn. It acts both as a liquid and a plasticizer, and it has a good flavor to it. So once you get it right, it should need like a really thick bread dough. If you start off and it's a little too wet, it's sticking to your fingers, add some more flour. If it's a little too dry, you can add water or oil or more creamed corn. So once you got it just about right, you want to knead the dough and knead it for a good 3 to 5 minutes. The more you knead it, the tougher it'll be. The tougher the boilies will be. And you just tear off little pieces and you can roll them off into your hands and form little balls. And this is really time consuming, so if you can get somebody to help you out, it sure helps. But there's faster ways to do it. You can buy actually a boilie roller machine, or what you can do is just roll the dough out into a snake like this and cut it up into little pieces. Now, nothing says the pieces have to be round. You can boil these little pillow-shaped pieces as is, but if you don't want to do that, it's much faster to cut them up and then roll them this way. You'll get through a lot of them quick. Now, you can make pop-up boilies which float, or sinking bottom bait boilies. And you take the same dough, and if you put it in the microwave, they will float. They will become pop-up boilies. And it only takes about 30 seconds. So, and they get quite hard and they last quite long. They're not quite as perishable, but be careful. If you overcook them for like a minute or two, they'll get a little burned on the bottom and it affects the flavor. So don't do that. But if you want a sinking boilie, then you boil them. That's where the name boilie comes from. Take these little round balls, put them in some hot boiling water for about 3 to 5 minutes, then pull them out and dry them off on a paper towel, and then spread them out to cool and dry off. And just like a cookie sheet or a drying rack or anything like that will help. Kind of spread them out so they don't stick together, and you'll feel right away that they start to dry up and get hard. And once they're all cool, put them in a bag and freeze them, because these are perishable. And I take the pop-ups and put them in a separate bag and put the whole thing in the freezer, and they'll last a long time. Now, if you don't use the gluten flour, this is what happens. See, you can see the one on the right has a gluten-based flour in it, and the one on the left is the exact same recipe, only I used cornmeal, which doesn't have a lot of gluten in it. And you can see it just doesn't set up properly. But once you get your boilies, this is how you use them. Boilies are perfect for hair rigs. So what you'll need is a bait stop and what's called a baiting needle. You can get it at most carp stores, and I'll put a link in the description to where you can buy those things. And you slip it onto a hair rig, which is a really easy rig to tie. I'll put a link on how to tie a hair rig. But this is a perfect rig for carp fishing. It's hard for the fish to detect the hook. You get a bit of hookup ratio and you lose less bait. But you see there the boilie slips onto the little piece of string called the hair, and it leaves the hook point completely exposed. And that has a really hard time coming off, and that is the best way to rig a boilie. Now, if you take some of the uncooked boilie dough, it makes an excellent paste. And this paste bait dissolves very slowly in water. So if you're going to be fishing in one spot for a long time, that is a great bait to use. And you can put it on a method lead and then slap the boilie on top. You're done. Well, hopefully you liked this video. If you want to see more videos, check out our 15 favorite carp baits and check out our playlist of how to catch carp. We put new videos out multiple times a week, so click subscribe to get new videos. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to click like and subscribe.